Furious Canada is striking back hard at Donald Trump and his despicable regime. Canada recognizes that Donald Trump has declared hybrid warfare on it, and Canada is responding strong. Let me show you what former member of the Canadian Parliament, now the leader of Meidas Canada, Charlie Angus, said about this hybrid warfare. Then I want to show you what Donald Trump is doing as part of this hybrid warfare, and then I'll go back and show you a little more what Charlie Angus is saying. Let's watch what Charlie Angus just said, though, about the hybrid war. Let's play this clip.
This is a hybrid war. This is about the United States using their enormous economic power to pressure us again and again and again. And the mistakes we've been making are trying to respond to whatever complaint of the day they have against Canada, and trying to show reasonably and trying to show how mistaken they are and showing how they're exaggerating, when it doesn't matter what the excuse is that they're coming at us over. What matters to them is the constant pressure. And so we need to look at the power that they're using and the strategy of continually trying to push us back and trying to make us cede ground. And then also the need for us to realize what we would have to do to hold them back and to take our strengths, our pressure points, and hit back very clearly, because make no mistake, this is war, and this is a war about destroying Canada.
Now, CBC prepared this supercut of Donald Trump continuing to attack Canada and trashing CUSMA, the Canadian-US-Mexico agreement that Donald Trump negotiated during his first term. Watch Donald Trump continue to attack CUSMA as part of this hybrid warfare. Let's play it.
Well, I'm not looking to renew it. We don't need anything that Canada has. We don't need anything that Mexico has, but they need everything that we have.
I would rather not have the USMCA. I liked it because it got us out of NAFTA. I would rather leave it unsigned. I'd rather have it terminated.
Canada's been very, very tough on us over the years. I mean, in all fairness to them, they need us to survive. Without us, there's no way they can survive. And they should have to treat us better.
You got to stop these fires from coming in and, poisoning our air. Maybe they should pay us some damages or something, or we should do some tariffs.
So the USMCA, are you looking to update that?
I don't care. I mean, I don't really want to. I'd rather be independent. Here's the thing. Mexico and Canada need us. We don't need them. The deal is important for them. It's not important for us.
Now, Charlie Angus, citing Sun Tzu's The Art of War, has a call to action to Canadians. Such an honor to have Charlie Angus leading Meidas Canada. And for me to just watch what he's grown over there has just been really one of the highlights, not just of my career, but of my life, being in solidarity with all the Maple Meidas out there. Here, Charlie Angus talks more about the hybrid warfare. Let's play it.
I've been reading a lot of Sun Tzu lately, and one of his fundamental principles is that the ultimate achievement is to defeat the enemy without coming to battle. That is the MAGA approach to Canada. When we talk about Canada being threatened, Canada being at war, I think people are thinking about, defending the border, the drones, the need to build up our military. And yes, we have to deal with all those issues. But the United States recognizes it would be a colossal error for them to actually physically come across the border. So what their plan has been all along is to use their incredible economic power to just keep pushing and making us give ground so that they take more and more, and to eventually see us break. So yes, that whole notion of achieving victory without ever going to military battle. And what we've also really learned over the last year and a half is that the United States under Donald Trump has enormous economic capacity to absorb the shocks of his dangerous worldview, the shocks that they've been withstanding so far in the Strait of Hormuz that is causing economic chaos to the world, the shocks that they're withstanding from the Canadian boycott, because it's not just about the enormous economic power of the United States, but you have a leader who doesn't give a damn what hurt he's causing farmers in South Dakota, or the damage that he's doing to Las Vegas, or tourist operators in Florida. He doesn't care who goes down the drain. His focus is going after his enemies, and his number one enemy is and has been since day one, Canada.
And Charlie Angus also talks about the importance of knowing your enemy. And he says, we must know our enemy. It's Trump, the sexual predator, the felon, the sick, disgusting, vile, authoritarian south of us who is out here constantly attacking us. Watch what Angus has to say. Let's play it.
Polling came out recently that was really surprising, but maybe not surprising. It shows that in the space of 1 year, positive views of Canada dropped dramatically among Republican voters. Just a year ago, 85% of American Republicans thought very positively about Canada. Now it's down to 62%. That's a 23% drop in a year. That's the result of Donald Trump continually attacking Canada, saying how unfair, how much we've ripped them off. You know, most Americans, and I'm exempting the incredible Mighty from America who watch, most of them don't pay much attention to Canada, don't know much about us. So when the president's saying that we're ripping them off again and again and we're the nastiest people ever, and Howard Lutnick's saying how much we suck, there are voters who are hearing that and thinking, oh, wow. Among independent voters in the United States, support for Canada dropped 9% in a single year. Now it's still holding among Democrats, but what we're learning also is that the attack on Canada is becoming good business for the MAGA machine. We see increasing numbers of MAGA politicians threatening Canada. You know, Eric Nesbitt complaining about the weather, about the wildfires, saying, unless you want to become the 51st state, you better learn to manage your forest. So he was actually just putting the open threat of taking over our country. Michigan Rep. John James issued what he called a final warning to Canada. And Senator Moreno in Ohio is actually talking about seizing Canadian assets and expelling our diplomatic corps. This is what you do as you are moving to war. These are all actions that signal that there's a hostile intent to take Canada. And so let's talk about how Canada sees this. So one of the things that Canadians tend to do is we tend to explain. When Donald Trump started threatening, insulting us, one of the first things Prime Minister Trudeau did was put out a video about how Canada and the United States share all these great common histories, reminded everybody about, you know, helping the U.S. Embassy during the Iran hostage crisis, how we helped all those people in Gander, Newfoundland in 9/11, and trying to play up the fact that, hey, we're nice neighbors. And that went nowhere. And I'm seeing lots of really great online commentary about the fires and Donald Trump threatening us about the wildfires. And people point out, you know, when California was hit by fires, we sent 250 personnel and we had the Canadian Air Force on standby to help California. In 2020, we sent almost 600 firefighters and specialists to the United States to help out. And after Katrina, Canada sent 3 warships full of supplies to help out. So we post these online to say, wait a minute, you know, we helped, we're being good neighbors, but when we're under crisis, you guys are threatening us. It doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter what the excuse is. That's what we got to get into our heads. They are using the excuse of the day to attack us. So yeah, they attacked us about us being some kind of fentanyl haven, that Canada was a narco state, that Kash Patel was saying terrorists were coming over the borders. Kristi Noem was saying that Canada was the biggest threat to the United States on the border. So what did we do? We appointed a fentanyl czar. We put billions into protecting the border for Americans, even though the big threat to us is all the illegal guns coming across the border. Do you think that the fentanyl czar made a difference? No, they just shifted the next day, came back at us with 25% tariffs. And the only thing that stopped them at that point was that Prime Minister Trudeau at that time said, we'll go back dollar for dollar. And it freaked the Americans out. They started shrieking at us, saying how unfair we were, how mean we are. And they're still saying that. This has become the mantra that Canada unilaterally was mean to the United States because we responded. And then what happened next? They came after us on the digital services tax. And Prime Minister Carney said, well, you know, we'll give up the digital services tax, which is the ability of Canada to set our own domestic policy on taxation policy. We gave that up without even being at the table to show we are reasonable. And what did they do? They started bragging about Canada being the 51st state and started to insult Prime Minister Carney, then calling him governor. We gave ground. they insulted us. They came at us on copper, aluminum, steel, said that we were completely unfair to them. These were arbitrary attacks. They came at us on the bridge where Donald Trump was making completely bogus claims and backed up by Pete Hoekstra about the bridge and saying we had ripped them off. And we agreed to renegotiate the deal. That was a huge concession. It was a concession. Let's not pretend that we outplayed them. We made a major concession by agreeing to reopen the bridge deal because it means any deal can be reopened. And did that satisfy them? No. The next day, they were posting pictures from the White House of Canada under the U.S. flag. They were back to insulting the Prime Minister. Then they started threatening us over the wildfire tariffs. And then they threw on 50% arbitrary tariffs. And they're still saying that they're angry we didn't invite them to the bridge opening. What it is, my friends, is it's the daily excuse to attack us. So we could explain how we built the bridge and how we paid for the bridge. It doesn't matter. They don't care. Pete Hoekstra doesn't matter. He's going to lie. Donald Trump's going to lie. It doesn't matter about the fires and what we've done and what we would continue to do. They will use that. There will be another excuse next week. All of this is about pushing us and pushing us and pushing us further into the corner and trying to wear us down, again, using their enormous economic power. So we have to make real decisions. The boycott has to remain strong, but we have to actually look at counter tariffs in key areas. Potash. Potash has got to be a key one because the U.S. farm economy is stumbling. The Super El Nino is going to happen. There is going to be a worldwide shortage of fertilizer coming because of what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz. Potash becomes a very powerful negotiating tool. Same with electricity. The electricity that's coming out of places like Quebec in Ontario, that is enormous pressure point. Key critical minerals that can't be got anywhere else that are coming out of British Columbia, coming out of Ontario, coming out of Manitoba. Those are the key tools that we have to put on. Will they freak out? Will they threaten us? Will they huff and puff and threaten to throw Canada to the ground? Yeah, they will. But if we don't do that, they're going to throw Canada to the ground by the steady attack on us. I think what's really important for us is just to understand the immense power that they have that they're using against us. The idea that our allies are going to come. I mean, I'd love them to come. But we've got to be realistic. What we've got are each other. What we've got is the fact that we know a lot more about them. They don't pay any attention to us. And this brings me back to Sun Tzu. And this is why I've been reading The Art of War. He said, if you know yourself and you know your enemy, you will gain victory 100 times out of 100. We know who our enemy is. Our enemy is a predator. Our enemy is a sexual felon.
And finally, here's how Angus concluded his video with a call to arms. Charlie, take it away.
So we have to bring our strengths to a battle against a very, very, very powerful foe. We are in the fight for our lives. But I think what's really clear right now is that if we stop feeling we need to explain to the Americans and trying to justify and trying to find friends, we're not going to find the friends in Congress. Yeah, I see 1 or 2 or 3 get up, whatever. What we need to rely on is ourselves and the clear determination that we're going to take the fight to them. And if we do that, we're going to get through this.
Now, I hope you all are subscribed to the Meidas Canada YouTube channel. I want to give a shout out to the Maple Meidas. So much love for the Maple Meidas. We're so grateful for you. And in our new book, WTF America, give a major shout out to the Maple Meidas and Charlie Angus, because I think one of the ways out of this hell, that's part of the title, WTF America, how we get out of this hell is by reaching out internationally and building pro-democracy networks across the world. And so shout out to all the Maple Meidas out there, and shout out to everything that Charlie Angus is building. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you for watching.
Hey, if you want the full story, how democracy got here and how we take it back, pre-order our new book, WTF America, today. Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Let's do this.